Hello, people. We're back, and this time we're going to talk about some Marvel movie news. This time, this is of course Guardians of the Galaxy news we're talking about. Basically, the Marvel head studio boss had basically in an article to Esquire magazine or Empire magazine. I don't know why I want to call it Esquire. Empire magazine had basically said that Thanos has been cast for the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Thanos, Thanos, depending on what you call him. A lot of people probably would know him basically through the Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity series they did in the 90s, and of course they recently did an Infinity miniseries just last year, or this year, with Thanos. Thanos, depending on how you say him. I always call him Thanos, but that's just what I call him. And of course you would know him because he was seen at the very end of the first Avenger movie, at the end of the movie, and then, of course, they announced Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. You're like, where is Thanos at? I thought he was going to be in the next one. Well, he's going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Marvel was kind of taking his time with his movies, whether you watch Winter Soldier or any of the upcoming movies, of slowly putting the pieces in place what seems like they're going towards an Infinity Gauntlet movie. That these very powerful items that clearly are meant to be Infinity Gems in a sense, or Infinity things, that clearly they're leading that way, and Thanos would of course be the major part of that. And it was already known that he was going to be in the, kind of known or hinted at that he'd be in the Guardians of the Galaxy, even though a lot of press hasn't shown. They talked about Nebula, of course, daughter, and other characters being in it. But with the case of Marvel right now, what they're doing is they're having they're having a major villain, in the movie, and then some other villains in it. Not that they're not major, but not as big villains in the movie, setting up pieces not only for that movie, but future stuff down the road. And so Guardians of the Galaxy, again, is a setup going towards, everybody's assumed Avengers 3 would have Thanos in it. Now, Thanos is one of my favorite characters in the comic books during the 90s and early 2000s. Because he was so, I guess because he was such a bad character, or lying the character was good, but he was a bad character, like just bad. He wasn't like character of I'm bad and I feel bad I'm doing. He's like I'm bad and I don't care that I'm bad. I'm gonna do this, and that's what it's gonna happen. But ultimately, of course, he became a good bad guy in a sense that he kept all those characteristics that you liked about him being a bad guy, except he was fighting now on the side of good. Really liked his character a lot. I know a lot of people probably didn't read the Powers miniseries, but that was a rather interesting theories where Thanos is kind of bored. There's not a lot of people can match him in the universe anymore. Basically because of the level he's ascended to, with how powerful he was and everything, and knowledge. And he eventually finds a battle going on between Galantis and this other guy, because the other guy has his herald, was Morg at the time, and he's like, this guy, the guy that Galantis was fighting, hey, this guy would be a guy worthy of me, and I'm going to go fight him, kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how they portray him in this, or what they're leading up to. Again, I'm assuming they're leading up to an Avenger movie eventually, the third one, which is, again, the third one will be an interesting movie because that will be like the final contract for like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans, Captain America and stuff. So that group of guys' contract are all up at that movie. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of role he's going to play. I think it's more. I don't think he's going to be like a major villain in it. I just think he's setting up for the next thing. Though in the comic book recently, Thanos did fight the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, one thing about Thanos being in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, what are you hoping with seeing him in there? He's been cast. They haven't announced who it is, so I guess they want to leave that as a surprise for when they actually do it, because obviously the person voicing him now will have some kind of contract to continually voice him throughout whatever they expect to use him for. One thing I do like that Marvel's doing now is not killing off their villains after they're in a movie. This is one of the flaws I saw, like in early movies, where my villain's in the movie and you kill off that villain and you can never use him again. That seems kind of, especially if you have long-term plans for the movies. Certain villains, major villains can't be dying off because you may want to use them more than one time. But anyway, what do you think about Thanos being the Guardians of the Galaxy? What are you hoping to see him in there do, or what happens with him? Maybe you're wrong. Maybe he will be a major character. They're just going to be one of those things where you're not going to, hear that he's a major character. Kind of like on Captain America Winter Soldier, if you haven't seen it, certain organizations are really the bad guy, but you don't know that because they never tell you until you see the movie. It's never in a trailer anywhere. Anyway, like always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.